That very latest from the Ninth Circuit. All right, joining us now for more insight, we want to bring in KTVU political analyst Brian Sobel as we talk about kind of what happens next. And as people are watching, they're watching what the court does, but certainly they've been watching everything happen. I want to first talk about this poll that came out from YouGov and The Economist. It was taken from June 13th to June 16th, which critical time period, right? Because we had this hearing, we had the No Kings protest, we had the military parade. 41% approve, 54% disapprove. We are certainly seeing numbers coming in about how Americans are feeling about the state of affairs. Certainly not just these kinds of hearings, but everything else. What's your take on that?
My take is that with all that's going on in the United States and internationally, you're going to have people that fall on the negative side of numerous issues. And if they fall on the negative side of numerous issues, the president's approval ratings are going to drop. And he's not unique or alone. They've dropped with other administrations, with Joe Biden as a most recent example.
But when it comes to an issue that the courts are dealing with right now, when it comes to kind of state control, local control, and federal control, big government, I mean, we certainly seen that be a Republican talking point and saying that the government is too big. And so this other poll also asked about state and local authorities versus the federal government. 60% to 25% say that the state should actually be taking the lead in these roles. And do you think that is partisan? I mean, certainly there are more Democrats who do not like the way this is happening right now, but there are certainly a lot of conservatives who think that big government is not the answer.
Exactly. But it is based on politics and where people come down on the president, and whether on the Republican side of things there is a feeling that the president is perhaps not being strong enough. Who knows what those issues are? It's complex, Claudine. But the use of and federalizing the National Guard has happened in history. Happened in 1965 when Lyndon Baines Johnson federalized the National Guard to protect the marchers from in the Civil Rights era from Selma to Montgomery, a very famous march, because George Wallace, the then governor of Alabama, would not guarantee the security of the marchers. And so history always has its parallels, and it's going to be very interesting to see where the court comes down on this, because the question is, does the federal government have the overarching authority, or do states have the authority? And frankly, there was a little thing called the Civil War, fought over the idea of whether a state could leave the Union by their own volition versus being held under the mantle of a federal government.
Yeah, do you think that people are seeing this in which way? Do they see this as a big government versus small government? Certainly that's what the courts are looking at, who has control in a very specific way. Do you think people are perceiving this, though? I mean, you mentioned, you know, the 1960s with President Johnson and civil rights. It's always in that context. Is this a debate about ICE? Is this a debate about Newsom versus Trump? Is this simply a debate about who has control?
I think there's a narrative. We saw it with the No Kings protest, that this president has gone too far on immigration, but on a number of other things as well. You know, hundreds of executive orders, and on and on. And I think for a lot of people in this country, it has been unsettling. With respect to the governor of California, I think he sees an opening here to take on the president, because he has aspirations as well in 2028 to run for president. And to be a president, you have to act like a president and be able to rebuff a president. And so I think we're seeing some of that as well here.
And certainly he's making the point that he said this is a national order, that we may be seeing this and talking about the 4,000 National Guard troops in California, but what happens in court and really how this is perceived across the country could have impact in many other states.
Right. He broadened it from California, as you point out, to say the National Guard, and I'm paraphrasing, may come to a city near you. And to the extent that the president has broad powers, seemingly, to use the National Guard in other states, that's the question that has to be answered here in a constitutional environment such as the Ninth Court of Appeals.
Well, certainly a lot to talk about, and a lot I think we will continue to talk about in certainly the days and weeks ahead. Yes. Brian Sobel, we always appreciate your insight and your expertise on this.
My pleasure.
Well, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has lifted the